Hi guys. Oh, I'm at home, and this is a different video than I usually put up. Instead of the car, now I'm indoors. I come back home, and the house is really moldy. So I've got a few logs, as you can see, and I've got a candle here, and the room is quite warm, but it's not centrally heated because there's heat from one source there. Even though it's quite nice, it's quite hot. Uh, I've run out of logs, so tomorrow I'm going to have to go outside. But the problem is the the logs are out in the fields. They're going to be wet, maybe. So I'm going to have to see what the situation is. Um, so, but for the moment, my back is warm, so I feel quite good. I don't have to wear. I was wearing my jacket, my hat, and my jumper, and I just took it off now because it's quite warm there. Had a nice cup of tea. It's really nice being back home. Um, I don't know. Sometimes when you're just about to lose something, you value it the most. They say, um, was it distance makes the heart grow fonder. I tend to, I don't know, look in advance, and I can see, for example, um, it's winter now, and I think, oh no, it's getting into winter. It's going to be really cold, and the days are darker and shorter. You know, shorter, less daylight hours, and oh God. But the way I think about it is, well, soon spring is coming, so I think in advance ahead. Spring is coming; it's going to be sunny. But then I think, oh, summer's coming soon, and then winter's going to come again. So I better not think ahead too much, otherwise I get depressed. Um, so far, I reduced the medication, the Seroxat, the Paxil, and one day I had to increase it again to half a tablet, which is about 5 milligrams. But now I've gone down to about 1.8 again, 2 milligrams, 1.8, and hopefully I can stabilize on this drop. But I find that I get stress builds up. I feel, you feel your shoulders tense, your whole body's tense, your neck hurts, you start having these headaches because you're just stressed out. So um and it's a unconscious kind of stress. Your levels of stress creep up a bit. Your heart beats more when you're driving. I notice when I'm driving I'm more stressed. It's a subtle and sometimes not so subtle difference. When I'm taking the Seroxat, the Paxil, I'm chilled out. I'm relaxed. Even the way I talk differently. My body's relaxed. But the problem is acetylcholine. The um, the Paxil or Seroxat is the SSRI, the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, the type of antidepressant that robs your brain of acetylcholine, and that's needed or required for memory. And so that's why I think there was a study or two based on the idea, or the suggestion was that SSRIs like rob the brain of this acetylcholine and can lead to dementia. There's a risk of dementia, higher risk of dementia. I didn't see the studies, but I read reports about the studies. And so there was a doctor on YouTube as well talking about it. And then I checked and I realized out of all the SSRIs, Paxil is the one that robs the most acetylcholine. So recently, what I've done is I started to introduce choline into my diet. I'm not sure. I think you can get choline from vegetable sources. I think broccoli, but you get it from eggs. So I increased my eggs. Like I have at least an egg or 2 eggs a day, and keep my choline level highish, so that the brain can produce that acetylcholine. There are supplements you can take as well. 2 supplements. I forget the names, and I took one. I got Timmy. Stop it. He keeps scratching himself, Timmy. I have to take him to the vet again. Sorry, but going back. But, won't my cholesterol get too high? That's the problem. The eggs are really high in cholesterol. There are good things and bad things about eggs. So when it comes to the production of bile, if you've got fatty liver or liver problems or gallbladder problems, eggs can be good for you, because they the fat in the egg, in the yolk, actually helps your liver squirt out bile. One of the most potent sources of the contraction of the gallbladder. I think it potently contracts the gallbladder via CKK. CKK, the enzyme inside the gut. So I think there's an enzyme in either the villi or some part of the gut that gets triggered when fat is digested, when you eat fat. And CKK, this enzyme, sends a message to the gallbladder, and it starts squirting out either the liver via bile, or maybe the contractions within the gallbladder itself. I'm not up on the anatomy or anything, but it seems to be good for the liver and the gallbladder issues, the yolk. But the problem is the CKK, when it's triggered, when you eat egg yolk and it triggers CKK, it also relaxes the LES, the lower esophageal sphincter, the sphincter here. If that's relaxed, then you can have more reflux. So you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. You on the one hand, it seems to be good for you. On the other hand, it's not. Eggs also increase cholesterol, and so my cholesterol is high. It's not dangerously high, but it's above the limit. Carnivores are going to say, "Oh no, it's okay. It's okay to have high cholesterol, as long as your triglycerides are low, HDL is high." But I don't know what my HDL. NHS, they just check total cholesterol and check for LDL. I don't think they did check for HDL or triglycerides. You have to have other tests maybe for those. But my problem, I don't think, is because we all, we have cholesterol in our body. It's important. The problem I have is cholesterol handling. My body can't handle cholesterol. And so, on one of my kind of carnivore, not binges, but periods, I didn't really go carnivore. I did ketovore, because I just had problems with palpitations and cortisol spikes, adrenaline spikes. I couldn't sleep. I needed to have a touch of honey or a little bit of bread in order to sleep. I couldn't sleep. And then I'd wake up in the morning, like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. The carnivore guys say, "Yeah, well, at 3 o'clock, I'm raring to go. It's great." Yeah, you're raring to go because your kidneys, your adrenal glands are pumping out adrenaline and cortisol. Basically, your body is waking up to tell you to go and eat, to go and eat something, to go and eat some glucose. It needs glucose. So you're running on stress hormones, and people like that. But I mean, I don't like that cortisol kind of running on that fuel, ketones. I think there is a difference, right, between fasting, like if you don't eat for a day and you just drink water, it's a different kind of feeling to then eating a ketogenic diet or carnivore diet, a very high fat carnivore diet, and trying to put you into that state. It's a kind of fake kind of fasting, really. Some people swear by it. I tell you, I've tried for a long, long, long time, many years, on and off, on and off, on and off, and I always fail, always fail. And then I think, okay, maybe I did it this way. Let me try again and take this thing out. Maybe this was wrong. Let me take this out. I've tried every bloody way, and I don't know. It just doesn't work for my body. Maybe because I'm a blood type A, so I checked online once. Type A people should be vegetarians or vegans or whatever, so they do well on with carbohydrates. So I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Definitely beef is really hard for me because beef is high in histamine. So lamb is okay. It's okay for me to eat lamb, chicken, and lamb, chicken, what else? And pork, because they're slaughtered and then they're not aged meats. They don't have to mature, or they don't have to stay long. They don't have to hang them up and make them mature. Within a few days of slaughter or the next day, they arrive at the supermarket or the butchers. So they're fresh. The longer the meat has to mature, or the longer any food hangs around, the more histamine increases in that food. So things like, let me see, kimchi, fermented food, kimchi, sauerkraut, jam, these kind of things that have a long shelf life, they will increase in histamine. And so when you eat them, the people will say, oh yeah, the sauerkraut is really good for you. The kimchi is really good for you. No, it's not. It's really terrible for me. And I think the reason is, I'm not really a biologist or anything, but the gut is here. Let's say this is the gut, okay? The gut wall. And you have villi, these protrusions. And inside, along these villi, you have certain enzymes. One of these enzymes is called DAO, D-A-O, or diamine oxidase. And this helps you to deal with or metabolize histamines. Very normal, like there's histamine increases even, when you have a hot bath, that increases histamine. There's lots of things apart from food, but we're just talking about food. Foods like avocado, tomato, beef, spinach, they are high in histamine. A lot of foods are high in histamine. Food that's been cooked and left over the next day or 2 days, that's high in histamine. So foods that are aged, for example, are really high in histamine. So you have to eat really fresh foods. So if you eat, I don't know, you have to be careful with vegetables and fruits. But you have foods that are high in histamine, and you have foods that really are called histamine liberators. So the banana is not high in histamine, but it's a histamine liberator, whatever that means. It helps for the histamine to be liberated in your body. I haven't looked into it. I know it's just bad for me. So foods like zucchini, that's like a very low histamine food. Chicken, if you eat it fresh, low histamine food. Organic is good because it doesn't have the hormones or the pesticide free. So because these things further damage your gut. If your gut, sorry, I'm so itchy. If your gut is damaged as it is, you do not want normal food. You need organic food. It doesn't have any other baddies inside it. You know, other people, normal people, they can eat all that kind of food. And people might say, yeah, everybody else eats normal food. Why don't you eat that normal food? It's not hurting them. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's hurting them slowly. You know, it's hurting them every time they eat. And it's going to reach a tipping point when they start having autoimmune symptoms and they think, why is it I'm sneezing now suddenly? Why is it? And it starts like that. By then, I'm not saying it's too late, but you have to like crawl your way back from that hole. And it's hard. It's really hard. You know, it's taken me years to find out so many things about myself. And because I couldn't afford a functional medicine doctor, I did in the past, but it's just ridiculous how expensive they are. Like 600 quid, 700 quid for an appointment, just one appointment. And then they sell you a package for $4,000 or something like that. Part of the package is like blood tests, urine tests, hair samples, things like that, which you probably nowadays you can do yourself. I reckon I can do it. I may be able to do it myself. You know, I'm not a doctor, so doctors have, you know, a lot of experience, you know, so they really know what to look for. But I think I can do quite a good job. I can kind of get halfway there, you know, but obviously a doctor would know, has more knowledge, has more experience. So if you could afford it, it's best to get a doctor to go through this. Sorry, got a dead leg. Through this whole thing with you. But if you don't, then I think you just have to assume that your gut is the problem. And how do you fix your gut? That's why the carnivore diet is so good, because you avoid all fruits and vegetables or carbohydrate fiber that feeds pathogenic or opportunistic bacteria that have arrived through your gut. And kind of you're fasting, you're kind of starving them of food. They die, and the die-off feels really bad because lots of them are dying, and I think they do affect the human brain, because there's that gut-brain axis. The gut affects the brain, the brain affects the gut. There's that cycle there. So I think there are some kind of theories that certain bacteria, they influence your habits, and the obvious ones are carbohydrate fermenting bacteria will kind of make you want to eat cakes, sweet fruits, stuff like that, because that's what they want. And if you eat less, they start dying, and they start, sending messages up to your brain, and you start, So every time you avoid sugar, then they somehow affect your brain, and then cortisol and adrenaline, at least cortisol, increases, and you feel pain when you pass the bakery and you don't, and you can't eat that food. So they do influence you. These bacteria do influence you. But certain bacteria, apparently, they influence you to have sex as well. So to spread from one person to another, apparently. So, yeah. Well, they haven't been very successful in my case for 18 years. So they're probably all dead. The sex parasites. Haven't they, Betty? Hey, look at you sleeping there. So now I've got all the dogs here. Where are they? I've got all 6 of them here, but Jerry, Jerry and Bob, they're in the other room because these guys here, they don't want them to go near them. Timmy starts growling at them, and Dave growls at them a little bit. The two girls are okay, Sally and Betty. But even if you take even if you're new to them, they're still aggressive. I think it takes off the edge, maybe 50% of the aggression, but they still have, I don't know, maybe it's not testosterone, it's just, I don't know why they're still aggressive. So, yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, so I'm back here, and it's nice and warm at the moment, and I wonder what it's like for you guys. I don't know which part of the world you're in, but a lot of my subscribers or my viewers are in the UK. If you live in the countryside, it's really nice, but you spend a fortune, you know, heating up the house. Unless you live in a 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom tiny house, and so all you have to do is warm up one or two rooms. If you've got a burner like this, it's brilliant. But it has to be cleaned once a year, and that's bloody expensive. You need a chimney sweeper, because otherwise you have a problem in your throat because you end up breathing soot. So every year it has to be cleaned, and they've got a special machine to go all the way up there and clean. I don't know how much it costs. Was it 700, 500 quid? I don't know. It's a lot of money. Everything bloody costs money. But it's cheaper fuel-wise, isn't it? If you've got trees, you cut them once a year. And I tried cutting them. I'm a walking disaster. I tried cutting them, right? These trees fell down. I thought, I can use these. So this is when I had money. I bought a chainsaw, an electric chainsaw with a lead as well. So I was thinking, and I had a helmet, and I thought I have to be bloody careful, don't chop my legs off. So I was looking around, I couldn't see properly. I was looking around, and I saw this spark. Oof! I thought, what the hell's that? I cut the bloody lead, so I couldn't use that. Then I bought an electric, a handheld, wireless. It doesn't have a wire. How do you call it? Chainsaw, okay? Nice green one. About 150 or 200 quid. I thought, this is going to work. This is rubbish. It kept getting stuck. So what you need is those, not electric, you need those petrol ones, that you pull. It's got a proper motor. So, yeah, ended up with, some people say, why didn't you use a saw or an axe? Yeah, the saws and the axe that I have are so old. Maybe I have to, an axe won't do it. You've got big, huge logs. Good luck trying to chop them with an axe this big. The saw, the normal saw, I've got old ones from when I was in London. I try a saw in, and they're all rusty, and they get stuck, and it goes like a wave. It gets stuck there, and I'm afraid it's going to hit me back and like amputate some part of my body. So that doesn't work. And I've tried sawing, and it just doesn't. It goes in and it gets stuck. So unless I get people to saw the pieces for me, then that's going to cost money. You can buy logs; they're not that expensive. But if you're using them every day, a few hours a day, it does become expensive. So it's like you might as well just get an electric heater and just pay the electricity. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to try and find a system where I can cut the logs myself. And, those big trunks, how do you cut them? Unless you've got a chainsaw. Unless you've got... I mean, I can get branches, but the branches, they run out. And then you need to try and cut those logs. So if I can get someone to don't know, a tree surgeon or someone just to cut them for me. And then, like, you see how big it is? Those big pieces, they have to be cut into pieces that can fit in there. I mean, what my wife has done is she's got big pieces and she puts half of it inside, but that's bloody dangerous. But she stays here and waits and then keeps pushing it in until she can close. But it's dangerous because bits can fly out. Also, you end up breathing in stuff. But then you have to wait there. But at least it's some heat, some kind of heat, because when it's cold in here, it's absolutely cold. So the good thing is this heat is killing the mold, because I don't want to have any mold. Yeah, so hopefully tonight I'm not going to be sweating as it is, because I ate some pasta, some wheat pasta, and I had a piece of chocolate, and I had a bit of milk in my tea. I didn't have almond milk because this is the first day back. So tonight I'm going to have night sweats. Hopefully not. Hopefully, because I'm sleeping in a small room now. I'm going to sleep in a small room, or maybe the big room. I don't know which room I have. And I need a heater in there, because the place is like ice cold. As I said, in the countryside, if you have a big house, the winter time is going to be a problem. If you have money, it's no problem at all, because you just heat the whole house up. This house is ultra expensive, so expensive. The thing is, it's so expensive, and yet we're trying to sell the house, but we can't get the money. We can't even get the money that we bought it for like 7 years ago. Like, the housing market is terrible, and yet everything is expensive. So you would have thought it's a good thing if the housing market is really bad. But I've looked for houses, small houses, like a 2-bedroom house near a village, with some land. But why is it that when I look for a place, it's bloody expensive? But me trying to sell the place, everybody wants my house for a cheap price. It's weird, isn't it? I just don't get it. Shouldn't it be cheap for me as well? If the housing market is bad, it should be bad for everyone, right? Not just for me. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's the situation at the moment. So I just wanted to show you maybe a different kind of layout. You can see me at home in a different setting. And yeah, if you like this kind of setting, maybe I can do this kind of video in the future. In my channel, I've never had the opportunity to have a nice backdrop, have things the way I want them, because I can never know from one video to the next where I'm going to be, so I'm not settled. I'm a nomad. So people might say, you got a house there, haven't you? Well, everything is temporary. I go and stay at my friend's, and then I come back here. Even though my friend, she's absolutely great, I'm always in her house. I don't have my own house. As a man, you need to have your own room and your own place that you can call your own. You can't call a place that isn't really your own. You have to own something. You have to have your own territory, and you have to have the place the way you want it. But I've been quite flexible most of my life. Even when I was at home, I always, because my parents needed to rent out some rooms to help pay for the bills, and so I said, yeah, okay, Mum, okay, Dad, just rent out my room. And I would go to another room that wasn't used, but then that room needed to be rented, so I would go back to my room. So I kind of never had my own room, and yet I lived in every room in the house. I even lived downstairs for a while in the living room when my parents had a chance to rent some rooms to Italian students. I said, yeah, okay. But this went on for years, and it did help my parents because the pension wasn't enough to pay for bills, to pay for this, to pay for that. But I never had my own room, and it makes sense if you're not working. Like I thought, like, of course I have to give up my room because these people will pay, and because beggars can't be choosers, I have to live in a small room or on the sofa downstairs, sometimes in my parents' room because they would go to Italy. So I would love to have my own room. Finally, I had my own room here, but things didn't turn out the way I thought. So now I'm going to have a new place and I'm going to make it my own. Yeah, that's exciting to have, even if it's a camper van or a 2-bedroom house. So that would be ideal anyway. So anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, so I'm going to try and in the next video, I'm going to try and up my game, as they say. In this video, I don't know if you can actually hear the audio very well. So what I'm going to do is get the proper microphone, and with the microphone, if I'm far away or if I'm near, stay there, David. Come here, Dave. Look at him, naughty David. Show everyone your teeth. Look how big he is. Naughty. Get back. Go down there. Go down there. You've got Jerry here. Come here, Jerry. Come here. Jerry, the naughty one. Nice, Jerry. You got nice teeth there. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll get a proper microphone, and so the quality will be better, because a lot of people have complained in the past, because maybe they hear with their headphones, and you can tell the difference between a video that's been done without proper audio and one that hasn't. I can kind of get away with it in the car because the audio, the sound bounces off because you've got walls that are nearby, so it's not so bad. But in a big room like this, you probably need the proper audio, an actual microphone. So, and also I don't have to shout so much. I can speak really quietly, and the audio is really good. So I'll see anyway in the next video if I can do that, and you guys can let me know the difference if it's any better. Maybe I can have a nice setup, like I have here. Yeah, so that's what's going on at the moment. I'm going to be, hopefully I won't get the fever again, because last time I came back I was working on the toys. I was cleaning up all the toys and preparing them to shred them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start shredding some toys and making some videos with the toys, that kind of POV type of video. I only got about 98, maybe 100 views on that one. I was talking about Jesus versus Paul. Maybe not a good title. It's a bit controversial. I wanted to do it a bit controversial, but I don't know. Maybe I can do something less controversial, because I thought it would get views, right? But I think people want to see my face in the thumbnail. If they don't, then it's just toys there, Unless I show my face and I'm playing with toys like this, I'm holding the toys, then maybe. But we're creatures of habit, aren't we? My subscribers, as soon as they see me in the car, that's what they want to see. That's what they used to. I mean, so if they see this thumbnail, like I'm talking like this or whatever, if that's the thumbnail, and then they think, well, is that Gerald? What's that in the background? So they might not click, or I don't know, they might. But I want to do some videos where I'm outside walking, um, walking and talking, and so I can show you, the land. I can show you, maybe I've done the videos in the stables before in the past, and in the camper van. But yeah, I'd like to get out a little bit. Maybe when I'm walking the dog, or when I'm doing some trying to hack those logs. So something a bit more interesting instead of always inside the car, always inside the car. I was thinking about doing those whispering ASMR videos. I might do that in the car, or maybe in a dark, a dark place. So it's a kind of intimate kind of video. Not intimate, but more, yeah, but not that a kind of intimacy, intimate. Where I'm whispering like this. So a lot of people like those videos. So I can try. The Not many older men do these videos, so it's either gonna crash, or it's gonna it's gonna be so weird that people will subscribe, and they'll, because a lot of people like my voice. I'm not actually trying to have a nice calming voice, but if I try, and I whisper, some people get those things called the tingles. The people who are into ASMR, and I'm one of those. Like, I could listen to one of these ladies, specific ones, not specific videos, but certain channels, and I'm just, I'm all like mesmerized, and I'm like hypnotized, and I just fall asleep. It's like if there's a lady that's doing your hair or something, and I'm just there looking, okay, this is interesting. I start melting, and I feel that she might say, let's touch your whatever, let's massage your brow there, and my brain inside is melted, is melting away. I'm just like this. I feel like inside my brain, like she's massaging inside my brain. And it's amazing. It's amazing. It's like an internal brain pampering in a specific spot. It's not literally, but I don't know. It's hard to explain. For me, many things are hard to explain. But anyway, yeah. Oh, I got some goodies for the dogs. One of my subscribers or viewers sent me some goodies. So thank you. You know who you are. That was really great. I just received it before I left my friend, and I opened the pack and I thought, oh wow, this is amazing. Goodies for the dogs. It's so good. Yeah, that really surprised me. So yeah, thanks a lot. That's nice. I'm not saying who it is, to respect the privacy of the person who sent them. Thank you. The dogs. I wanted to do a video of myself opening the box, so if you can email me and tell me if it's okay. I won't obviously put your address or anything, or your name, but if I could just open the box, and or maybe not, a thank you is enough, but to show the dogs eating these goodies, it'll be really good. They'll really appreciate it. So anyway, yeah. So that's the situation at the moment. That's what I'm doing at the moment. Oops. The fire's going out. It's still warm though. Yeah. So I wonder what it's like for you guys. you know, if you, for old people, you know, the elderly. Remember last year when that was it Keith Stalin, when he said that like he was going to take away like the was it the money for the elderly, you know, for heating, you know, every year, and then he backtracked because people like rebelled, you know. I'm not sure this year they're probably going to get that money. But imagine if you're elderly, like if you're elderly, you can't generate maybe heat, you know, and you have to. I mean, some people who are elderly are very resilient. I met one guy, the place where the place where my friend lives, and I gave him a lift home. It was like snowing. It was almost snowing or sleet. Like was it last year? Yeah, obviously it was really cold. The guy was 90 years of age, and he had a trolley, and he walked all the way to the co-op. It was about 2 miles or something like that, and he was going to walk all the way back. And I said, "Oh wow!" I said, "Come on, mate, get into the car with me." It was a nice English guy, an old guy, 90 or maybe more. I put him in the car. I put his trolley in there, and yeah, he was a nice old guy. You know, really nice. It just reminded me of my dad, and yeah, I tend to do that in the co-op. Was it yesterday? I saw an elderly lady. She must have been 85 or something. Small lady, white hair, and I felt like when she went by and she was looking for something, I felt like going to help her. And I thought, what am I doing? But then I thought I had that vibe. She looked like my mum. Like, I mean, from the back, you know, little like white hair. My mum would have white hair now, and yeah, the reason why I would want to help her is because like she's like my mum. Obviously, she's not my mum, but yeah, I wonder if you guys get those things. You know, when you see an elderly man or an elderly woman, they remind you of your parents, and you want to help them or you want to be friends. But obviously, you can't. You're a stranger. You can't. Yeah. Anyway, so guys, I'm going to make another tea because it's getting a bit cold. I don't want to have that dead hand anymore. I only had that once, and I since then I drink ginger tea, chili, and sometimes I have hot baths with Epsom salts. I've got no problem now. I haven't had it since. So, but you have to keep your um, circulation up. You know. Somebody said that it could be a problem with an autoimmune problem, low thyroid, a thyroid problem, and I do have a low thyroid. My TSH is high, borderline, so low thyroid. But that could be because I've been eating also a very low carbohydrate diet, and the thyroid needs or tends to need carbohydrates to make thyroid hormone. One of the is it T3 or T4, one of them, or all of them, I don't know, but it tends to need carbohydrates to convert to for your thyroid to make thyroid hormone. Also, maybe I've been eating, you know, like broccoli, cruciferous vegetables because they're good, anti-cancer vegetable, but also good for the liver as well. But the problem, but crucifers, especially raw crucifers, are goitrogenic, which means they affect your thyroid negatively. So raw cabbage, like coleslaw, um, raw broccoli or raw cauliflower, or you know, raw cruciferous veggies can affect your thyroid. I haven't eaten much raw. The only problem would be if you're eating raw cabbage, you know, if you juice raw cabbage and you juice raw broccoli, yeah, that can maybe affect your thyroid. But even cooked, if you eat too much, even cooked broccoli, I'm not sure how goitrogenic that kind of diet would be, so I have to like kind of be careful. And that's the problem. I think that's the reason why I've got cholesterol handling problems. Cholesterol is slightly high, but it's the way my body processes cholesterol. So I started to eat that high um, high meat diet, high fat diet, a ketovore diet, and I started to get was it called xanthelasma, which means cholesterol spewing out into tissue, and that thing doesn't go away. So it's not like having a stroke, but it's like cholesterol doesn't know what to do and it spews out in these tissues. But you can get xanthelasma with normal levels of cholesterol. Normal levels of cholesterol. Cholesterol handling happens, in my case, I think, because low thyroid and low testosterone. So by fixing testosterone and fixing your thyroid, your cholesterol handling will hopefully be a thing of the past. Well, anyway, I can talk about that in another video if you guys want to hear. So anyway, I'm going to go now. This is supposed to be a short video, and I have to shut up and try to make short videos. It's bloody 46 minutes. Sorry about this. I'll try to make my next video 10 minutes, so then I can do 4 videos. All right, I'll speak to you guys in another video. Take care. Good night or good morning, whenever this video reaches you. All right, bye.